Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. This is episode 79. I'm joined with Isaac Stolmeyer, Nick Gwynn, Connor Carsons. How we doing?
They for real thought we'd never make it here. The
And
79th episode? They didn't think it.
I thought you were talking about the Celtics.
Nah. No, they didn't. They knew we wouldn't make it there.
Yeah,
But
but
they wouldn't think we'd have 79 episodes. Man,
No.
wait till we get to 100. They gonna be
Wait till we get-
dumbfounded.
and then 1,000. That 1,000 episode special.
We better be
crazy.
sponsored by fucking something, Body Armor, by that time. How was work today, Stoll? How was the barrel part of Barrel Talk?
Barrel. Yeah, we'll go over the barrel real quick. Oh, it was for a Tuesday. You wouldn't think it'd be so busy.
Mm.
But
Day after Memorial
was-
Day.
I suppose so. It was busier than Memorial Day. And sorry. I was flying. I went in at 2 and my last table came in at 8:45. And we closed at 9.
Hmm.
So yeah, I made good money though. 220 on a Tuesday is
Easy.
I can't complain.
That's
I
easy
can't.
bread.
Even though I had to do a lot of side work late because usually the last hour is for doing your clothes work and stuff. Corey knows all about that. He used to do side work.
He used to.
Yeah. What'd you do today?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Nothing.
Corey worked to get today too. What
Dude.
time did you go in?
I'm done with that shit, bro. When there at 9, bro, we were dead till 11. I could have slept 2 more hours.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Well-
course, I'm not gonna leave because it wasn't busy enough for me to clean anything. So I just did.
Valid.
I mean, you had some campers. You gotta love campers.
Dude. Anytime I never leave when I'm supposed to. That's why I get mad. I never leave when I'm supposed to actually leave. And I see people I come in earlier than leave an hour and a half before me. I'm sitting here like, wow, this is sick. Happens every weekend,
course.
every Sunday. It happens.
Not unlike our volleyball league, Corey is the villain of our story. He makes himself.
I'm the villain.
Until
legit anywhere.
Corey quits, bro. I ain't gonna believe him.
Oh,
Until I actually see you put in them resigning papers, bro.
I thought I would be gone a long time ago, and I am. My boss is trying to convince me to stay on for even longer, just through school. And honestly, he's making a strong case. he's got points.
Mike
Okay.
has a way with words,
He does.
to make
He
you
does.
feel like the guy.
He does. He points out that once a week really isn't that much. So
not?
it's not. And
That's
it's
one
me-
measly shift.
Until
Easy.
you come back that next week and he's not there. Then you've been
Yeah.
bamboozled.
True.
Mm.
But since I'll be in school in town anyway, I mean, I have a summer to think about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We can hop into the basketball side of things. So the far more interesting episode, or the part of the episode, I should say.
Well, actually, just hop right in to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll get into the finals preview, but man, I will say before I give the floor to Connor, the same shit that Joe Mazzulla was getting for being down 0-3. Give him praise for coming back, tying the series up. It's at this point in game 7, it's not his fault that his stars one star just didn't show up and the other one gets hurt. So before you go in, I give you the floor. That's all I wanted to say. Gotta give him some praise as his first year coach from coming back down 3-0 to tying it up at least.
So at points, there was like an obvious coaching gap. Like that Eric Spoelstra and Joe Mazzulla, like Eric Spoelstra was coaching like laps around Joe Mazzulla in some of these games. Those first 3 games where we got just absolutely destroyed. Coaching laps, just having everything go their way, basically. So, and then for him to kind of lock in, get everything going for us to at least force a game 7. I can't blame it on Joe Mazzulla. Like the dude can't go up there. He's not one of the players. He can't go out there and win the game himself. Like you need he needs help. So that's why you have a good team like the Celtics. So we force a game 7. We shouldn't have even been in a game 7. Like we low-key should have just lost in game 6. But to have your star players come out and do that in a game 7, granted, Tatum got hurt.
And it actually looked like he was
first play
going
of the
through
game.
it.
He lands on Gabe Vincent's ankle. I mean, I thought he did it. I thought he didn't have to stick his leg out, when Tatum was coming down. It is what it is. I thought he should have been ejected. That's a hazard, but it is what it is. He could have tore something, but he got hurt. It obviously affected him for the rest of the game. It's not like it didn't. You could tell in his face he wasn't moving right. He was limping around. He didn't feel good. So then you go, oh, hey, our 1 star ain't having a good game. This is why we have insert name Jaylen Brown. This is why we have him to do this. 2 stars, perfect. Joel Embiid ain't having a good game. Insert James Harden. Like Klay Thompson ain't doing good, or Steph Curry ain't doing good. Insert Klay Thompson. Like same thing with everybody. Devin Booker, KD. But when your second player puts up that kind of game in a game 7 where he single-handedly almost lost, didn't almost. I think we lost the game, but he didn't single-handedly do it. He almost single-handedly did it. 8 turnovers by himself, and most of the turnovers are just him dribbling the ball off his fucking foot. Dribbling the ball off his foot. I don't understand what he's trying to do. And then these stupid contested jump shots that he wants to take. His 3-pointer wasn't falling the whole series, so he just kept continuing shooting them. I don't get it. It didn't make any sense. Tatum gets hurt. Brown's playing like shit. Robert Williams had a fucking stomach virus. He was throwing up at halftime, I guess, which doesn't help. Brogdon's elbow is torn. I'm not saying these are excuses, but damn, bro. I don't get it. And then Marcus Smart is just Marcus Smart. He just goes out there and plays fucking basketball. I get it. We tried. I mean, I thought it was over after game 3. I thought they were sweeping us. It was done. That was wraps. We're washed. But we forced it at game 7. We had home court advantage, and we just fumbled. No defense. We used to be a team who was feared for defense. We were one of the best defensive teams in the league last year, holding teams to under 100 points and everything. And then we're letting teams drop 130 points on our heads like it's easy. So
that was also the coaching change. I think had a lot to do with it.
You can't fire Joe Mazzulla after what happened. I don't think they should. It'd be dumb if they did. I don't think a coach should have that short of a leash in the NBA. That's kind of crazy for him to just get thrown in there and then get fired. But yeah, I think they're just gonna. They said they want to bring him back, bring Jaylen Brown back. Tatum wants Jaylen Brown back. I don't. So, I mean,
his stat line was 8 for 23, 1 for 9. Wow, Marcus Smart also going 1 for 6 from 3. But Derek White putting on for his city.
Derek White. I think at this point, you have to do a sign and trade. I think we got to go get Dame. I think we got to go get him. Well, either Dame or Trae Young.
Before we go into hypotheticals, who should players go get? Because I do agree that they should go ahead and get rid of Jaylen Brown. We'll sign and trade, because when you're looking at his contract and Tatum's contract, in 3 years, your guys are going to have zero money for the rest of your roster. And a part of the reason why you guys are so good now is because of your depth. But 24-25 season, Jaylen Brown, $50 million. The next season, $54 million. The next season after that, $58 million. The next season after that, $62 million. His final season on his contract is $66 million. Total of $290 million. And Tatum's going to be making around total $310 million.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown, fantastic player. Great two-way, for some reason, he's just a streaky guy, but I don't think he's worth that. He's a good player, but he is not worth the highest paid player in the league. And
fuck no.
do do you really think he's gonna go in asking for that? I mean, you
I don't
always
He's
know.
have
eligible
I
for the
don't. I-
Yes.
supermax.
Yeah.
do you
he can get
start
the
high and
Supermax.
just work your way
He's eligible
down?
for
And
it.
They gotta
don't think-
think like I don't know. Brad Stevens, like, and when he looks at the books, like they definitely got to have an updated book. To be like, all right, if we sign him to this is what we're gonna look like. Like, I don't know how he can look at that and be like, all right, now we're gonna go do this with no money. Like, what are we signing? Like minimum deal guys, like for the bench. Like, I don't understand. I get we have some people like still under contract and everything, but like it's like you sign Jaylen Brown, we got to win the next year or the year after that, and then you're done. We got like
It's
2
like you
years.
guys have a large window, but at what point? Because
At what point?
it's always been like, can Jaylen Brown be the main guy on his own team? I don't think
No.
that has ever been the case. I think it's always been Tatum's team. And then I've been seeing a lot of arguments lately is like Curry didn't win his first till he was 27, Bron 28, like all these superstars in the league didn't win it until like they were older than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But I do think that this typical like Boston Celtics team that they have right now has just definitely reached a ceiling because they're missing, like it seems like they're missing so much because they got outplayed and outcoached. But like even before this series, they had spots against Philadelphia where they didn't look good at all. Like they couldn't defend home court at all. They looked shaky against Atlanta at times in the first round. And it's just like they've always got out of it because they've just been the more talented team. But Miami really outplayed them and just really pointed out all their flaws. Because whenever you're watching a Celtics game, every announcer says the same thing. They have nobody that gets downhill other than Jason Tatum. Everybody else is just standing on the perimeter. And if they're not making threes, then all right, Jason Tatum beat us. Jaylen Brown
Which like
beat us.
Jaylen Brown can attack the basket, which doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely.
He can
Jaylen
attack
no
the
handle
basket.
Brown.
He can dunk and everything. He can like it doesn't make any sense. It's so dumb. Like, and then he thinks his bag is like so much deeper than what it is, and he just loses the ball every time. And I don't know. Yeah, basically it's two people on the court who can attack the rim, and everybody else sit on the 3-point line. And if we're making them, we're gonna win. If we're not, we lost.
Yeah.
And you guys don't really use. I think Al Horford plays a lot more than Robert Williams, and that shouldn't be the
He
case.
does.
Yes, I know Al Horford can shoot threes, but like threes can kill you. Because I feel like in this playoffs alone, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but like just the playoffs alone, I've seen, wow, if you shoot bad from three, you might as well just pack. I've seen teams give up when they shoot bad from three and then just pack up their bags for the next game. Like when Boston shoots bad from three, like they're defeated. They're so out of it.
We started 0 for 11 from 3 in the first quarter.
Oh my god.
That's tough.
That's so
when you
bad.
see that, you probably think we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's just you guys had every opportunity to like blow Miami out of the building early because at the start of that game, Miami couldn't make shit either.
no,
That's why the first quarter was so terrible. Neither team could make shit, but if you're like Boston took all those threes, you get at least 3 or 4 of them to go in. You guys have a huge lead because Miami couldn't make anything in the first quarter. Neither team could, but props to Miami. I mean, beat the 1 seed, beat the 5 seed, beat the 2 seed. Now they're playing the 1 seed. We'll get into the preview later, but now it's to the conversation. Like I think Jaylen Brown needs to be signed and traded, but for who? It's always the big question. Like Trae Young's been out there, Damian Lillard's been out there, but Houston's also linked to there. I don't know what you'd get from Houston, but
I think even a Bradley Beal type would be better than I think Jaylen Brown.
I just
The
don't
issue
think
is,
they just don't really mesh well.
No.
Like on
those,
the court.
those two.
Yeah, they don't like. No, I'm talking about Jaylen Brown and Tatum.
Oh,
On paper,
mean-
you would think they would mesh like Kawhi and PG, but they don't.
There's just not enough playmaking ability, and the interesting thing is that if Jaylen Brown does get traded, he's not going to still have that supermax. It's only if he stays with Boston. I think it becomes a 4-year 184.5, even if he signs the supermax and gets traded. Like There's
There's
like
I
language.
even saw it was we would trade Jalen Brown to Portland for the third pick and Anthony Simmons or Simons, and then
He's-
and then future picks, and then maybe even you get a young guy at 3.
His contract becomes
But-
much more reasonable if he's traded. Is
Yes.
what I mean. Like, so his value almost goes up. It does go up. So
You guys have an interesting spot because say you guys do bring back Jalen Brown right on the Supermax, you have Tatum, but like you have other good pieces that other teams would definitely want, like a Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Robert Williams, Al Horford still, Marcus Smart. Like you guys have expendable assets to get better and help improve the roster around them, I feel like, depth-wise and just fit-wise. But it's like,
I
how
think
far is that
Grant-
still going to get you?
I think Grant Williams is the only free agent we have.
Yeah, everybody else is locked up for the next
Everybody
year.
is locked up.
right.
Like even the other guys who don't play, like are all locked up and everything.
And
then
I don't think you guys bring
people-
back Grant Williams.
People will think, wow, we still have fucking Danilo Gallinari on our fucking team.
Yeah.
He didn't play the whole season because he tore his ACL. But even if we had a person like him come off the bench, like in the playoffs, to having that extra body, like would have helped us a little bit. Because he's just like a big stretch 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, he would have helped the rebounding a little bit. But other than that, like, I think that the Celtics are probably just gonna run it back. It's gonna be so fucking annoying because we're gonna have the same exact roster.
Maybe one other.
Maybe one
Yeah.
change with like Grant not there. So like we go get some other not big guy off the bench, but like we
Some
just have a
other
different guy
shooter.
off the bench, or we just let Gallinari fucking show up and just play.
They
Be
probably
like, all right,
play
you're
the same
taking.
role.
I'll be like, yeah, you're taking the Grant Williams rule, like,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't hate at all.
So
No.
Which
like
I think Gallinari is a better defender, but he's gonna be weird on the knee.
just looking at the Celtics and like the weaknesses that I've seen is that I think they should definitely address. Love Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart. They are 2 guards. They are not point guards. Jason Tatum, even though his playmaking ability has jumped, I think you guys need a true actual point guard, somebody who can control the pace of the game. Marcus Smart, yes, he can be a point guard through stretches, but late game, there's been so many like
my
situations late
gosh.
game where Boston just doesn't know what to do out there because they don't have a point guard. They need to figure out the rebounding problem because they are a small team and a bad rebounding team. When Jason Tatum is your best rebounder and also your best player, I think that's a problem in my eyes personally because they have nobody else that's really attacking the glass like that.
That's
It's
why
Brown
I'm
and
like,
Tatum really mainly.
I'm kind of clamoring for this Trae Young like trade. I know Trae Young has also been on the Lakers radar, but like everybody's on the fucking Lakers radar.
We
But
don't have the
someone like a Trae
assets.
Young, you go get like someone like a Trae Young and a Bogdanovich or something in a sign and trade with the Hawks, giving up Jalen Brown, and then maybe you're giving up I guess give up Gallinari, send him back over there, and then maybe you give him fucking 3 second-round picks or something like that. Something like that, like a bunch of second-round picks. But to get someone like a Trae Young, if you're running, you can have Brogdon still can come off the bench. I have no problem with that. You can run the same lineup. It's just you got Trae Young, and then you have Robert and Al still in there. And Trae Young can Robert Williams and Trae Young pick and roll. Yeah, I'm there for that. I want that. I need that. I'm obsessed with it. I'm fiending for it. Like that shit would be awesome. He's already doing good with Clint Capella. Give him Robert Williams, more athletic. Like that's what I need.
Yeah,
I think that Trae Young's more realistic than Dame.
Yes, I think it is too.
And
Because
you guys just need a bigger wing, somebody off the bench because you guys have so many guards. You guys need like a 6'8" athletic wing that can switch, do a little bit of everything. And those
DeAndre
guys,
Hunter?
I don't think you guys get. See that trade package. I don't know how that trade package.
You
would
probably attach Marcus Smart in it too,
I
or
think
something.
Smart
And
would be there.
I like Trae Young because he is, and people kind of underestimate this. Trae Young applies a lot of pressure at the rim, not just being the 3-point threat that he is. Those floaters that
And
he
he shoots
does
a lot
are
of free throws.
are
Mhm.
killer. Yeah, and his free throws too. He's annoying, to play against. But as Celtics fans would embrace him and his antics, as they did Marcus Smart's. So the Hawks are in a really weird place too, to the point where they might even consider trading Trey Young.
Which
You know,
I mean,
they're
you run a
Yeah.
Jalen Brown and DeJounte Murray
Yeah.
with having Marcus Smart come over. I don't think.
drafted
I
a
think
true PG or
Marcus Smart would probably. He should come off the bench for them, but you probably won't
He's-
want to.
he should be probably a 6-man from here on out, right?
It's
I don't
crazy.
know.
This is the
this
deep
this
play a year
series
ago.
I know.
he spent more time complaining about calls than he did playing actual defense
Yeah,
this
he
series.
complained a lot.
There's a picture of
It's the
Caleb
him.
Martin hitting
yeah.
the shot, and then Marcus Smart complaining to the refs and not contesting it.
Damn.
Because he
that's
thought he
great.
traveled.
But if
Which he
say
didn't.
like the whole Trey Young situation doesn't work out, I don't know if it was on the pod or we were just hanging out when I brought this up. Is just I know he's old, but if you had an opportunity to bring on somebody like a Chris
Don't
Paul,
say Chris Paul, you motherfucker.
I think it would
No.
be beneficial
Yep.
because y'all don't have no, I'm not saying trade for him. I'm saying if Chris Paul's balled out and he's just trying to get on a contender for a minute.
Bought out is different.
Yes, that's
I
where,
don't want that contract.
no, that's what would happen. He would get bought out. That's what I think is going to happen with CP3. And I think if Boston is in the realm and they still are lacking that point guard, they have the guard depth and the depth overall on the team where you don't need Chris Paul to play that many games during the regular season, but you definitely need him in closeout games because he knows what to do with the ball. He's not turnover prone like Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, but end of the day, I think Jaylen Brown needs to be gone. I think they've reached the ceiling with the whole Tatum and Brown. Yes, they're young, but like they were saying in 2019, there's 2019 when they made the run and lost to Bron in the conference finals. They were like, oh, this is the next year, and the next year, and the next year after that. Oh, it's the year after that, and the year after that, and they've lost every single one of them. It's dead ass.
Tatum has already lost 5 conference finals.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I saw that stat. 5 of 6.
They already have the same exact resume as KD and Russ.
That's fucking terrible.
They have one finals appearance and a bunch of conference finals losses.
Yep.
And then when they both separated, they both thrived. Westbrook got the MVP, and then KD went to win titles. And I'm not saying the same exact thing's going to happen if they split up, but I think if both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum split up,
Jaylen
I
Brown's
think
like
it
going to
benefits
Warriors.
both sides.
Jaylen Brown's gonna get the rings, and Tatum's gonna get fucking MVP.
But it's an interesting conversation for sure.
Very.
Yeah. But we can hop into the finals preview, which NBA is so salty about because they could have got Celtics and Lakers.
They're so mad.
for 18. I think
Silver
Adam
is
Silver
so
wanted to
mad.
cry last
Man.
night watching the game. They kept on panning over to him. He looked like he was in tears.
Casual NBA fans are mad. Casual
Oh,
NBA
yeah.
fans are mad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
everyone knows.
Who's
the
gonna
Heat.
watch the Nuggets and the Heat?
I think it's going to be better than for actual people that watch basketball and enjoy the game, not just for the stars and everything else. I think this is going to be a very interesting series. You have the two hottest teams and most dominant teams in all of basketball. And all I've been hearing is just from it could happen. Obviously, Denver's a very good team. Denver's just this ain't going to be a contest, but let's not act like Miami didn't beat the Bucks, Knicks, and the Celtics to get here. They are still a very good team. They're well coached. Defensively, they're going to have crazy schemes for Jokic, and it's going to be different because Bam Adebayo, yes, is a mismatch for Jokic, but he's quicker. He can stay with Jokic more so on the perimeter, something that AD lacked, I feel like, against the Lakers. But I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup because of how Miami plays. They always dictate the pace of the game, and they always make the other team play Miami Heat basketball compared to the other way around. And I think the key to them in the preview that were they got to win game 1. I think if Miami can steal one in Denver, then it's a series.
They've won, I think, 6 straight game 1s or something.
Wow.
And I think it's realistic that they can go in there and steal game 1 in Denver. Denver's had pretty much a full week off, couple of days more of a week when they play on Thursday, but it's definitely interesting. It's more I think it's going to go the distance just with how good, well coached both teams are. I think Eric Spoelstra is going to cook up some crazy shit for Jokic, and they got the zone. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Jokic plays against the zone and everything else that they run. But And if Miami Heat's role players continue to hoop like this, I mean, I can't. What am I supposed to? I don't see a world where Miami just gets like swept if they keep playing like this. And I'll
Yeah.
see them slowing down. And they're supposed to get Tyler Hero back by game 3. I don't know how that's going to look, but they're going to get him back. That's just another body because they are limited in bodies.
It's going to be a very interesting series, but this is a very key stat that I noticed is, first off, Michael Porter Jr. has never not attempted a contested 3-pointer in his life. So we got to consider that.
Love it.
A. B. Michael Porter Jr. is 6'10" with a high release point too. He doesn't release it low. Like, he gets up. Miami doesn't have a defender over 6'8", like on the perimeter. It's Jimmy Butler is their tallest defender. It's, Caleb. Yeah. Is it Caleb Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Caleb Martin. I guess technically Hero is
If a show
maybe
ain't Cody.
available. Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent. None of these guys are gonna be able to seriously contest some of these
And
jumpers.
you got to think it's okay, you got Jokic, whatever. They got Jamal Murray, man. Like, their starting
Murray,
point
yes.
guard is fucking Gabe Vincent. Like, I get Gabe Vincent's hooping, but I'm sorry, you
He
just
ain't
got
Jamal
done
Murray. He
playing.
ain't Jamal Murray.
You just got done playing a series against Marcus Smart, who's
Yeah.
not a well-known scorer. He's just shooting 3-pointers. This man Jamal Murray can do everything. This Jokic
He
pick and
averaged-
roll that they're about to get into is going to be very crazy. And I think the primary defender for Jimmy Butler is maybe going to be Aaron Gordon.
I would probably think so.
I would say Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, not a slouch on defense whatsoever.
very
At
strong
this
defender.
point,
he a
at
big
this
body.
point, there ain't nobody. This man Jimmy
But-
Butler has gone through the entire Eastern Conference best defensive teams. I don't.
Jimmy
It's
Butler.
just-
yeah.
Aaron Gordon's a good
He's-
matchup, but I just don't think
If
he's
Jimmy
gonna
Jimmy's
stop
gonna
Butler-
it
get
all.
his
if
25.
Jimmy Butler play the Heat go as far as Jimmy Butler takes them. If Jimmy Butler plays like shit, they're gonna lose. They are
True.
going to get blown out.
True.
If Jimmy Butler has a good game, like he did against us, he had 30, 28 points, 29 points. You're gonna win, bro. Like, it's just Jimmy Butler dictates that whole fucking team, which
Yeah.
is really crazy because of how they're an 8th seed. They got one guy, Bam. I'm not worried about Bam.
Bam's a joke.
I'm just not worried on the offensive side. I'm just not worried about Bam. Don't care about
Yeah,
that.
on the offensive
Yeah.
side, Bam's been very hit or miss, but defensively, he's always there.
Defensively, he's there. He's
And that's what you
doing
need.
he does
That's
his
what you
shit.
need more than against a Jokic. The only thing Bam can't allow, he can't allow himself to get in real big time foul trouble.
I think that's going to be huge.
And I think if
I
Bam,
think-
I think Bam is more important than Jimmy Butler in this series when it comes to his performance. Can he be able to match Jokic to some level? Because I feel like I know what I'm getting out of Jimmy Butler. It's Bam. It's the secondary players. Like, some days it's Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Bam. Like, but it's also works in their favor to have so many guys be able to step up. So it's hard to game plan. Like, you really think they thought Gabe Vincent was going to go in there and drop 30 plus on him? No, they didn't. Boston didn't think that was going to happen. And it did happen. But like, for my prediction, I still go Denver, but I go Denver in 6. I think Miami definitely can snag 2 with how they've been playing and how hot they've been. And if Miami were to somehow win the finals, I wouldn't be completely flabbergasted by it because of how hot they are. But I just think Denver is just too big of a team. And I think they just have it going right now. But Miami has to win at least one of the games in Denver to make it a series because they can't go back to Miami down 2-0-2 because they will go back to Denver down 3-1 with Denver a chance to close it out in 5.
Yeah. Corey, you make a strong case. I'm going Denver in 6 as well. The Heat, albeit they are a thin team, are still very good, and Jimmy Butler has been basically unstoppable. But if Bam Adebayo goes out for any reason, foul trouble or injury or whatever, who is going to guard Jokic? I mean, Kevin Love, Cody Zeller, Jovic.
He's not even going to touch the floor.
I don't even. The Heat have not a very strong bench. It looks like I'm looking at least the box score. I don't know. Is Haslam gonna get minutes because I don't. Howard Haysmith is a small forward, and Duncan Robinson, there's no way. So Bam Adebayo is really going to be the X factor for the series, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to slow down Jokic enough for them to win. But I think Miami can get 2.
I mean, they're gonna go to Denver. They're gonna get that high altitude.
I think
not
they're going to
good.
get a punch.
They're gonna be breathing.
You know?
They're gonna be breathing hard, bro. It's hard to breathe in Denver. I get it,
It is.
but they always
that's-
showed it with
that's
the
real.
Lakers. Lakers would go off. They'd be huffing and puffing. It's a thing.
No,
So-
it's real. Yeah.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're
it
going
is-
when
it
they're
is.
going 100 mile an hour, they're not going to be able to breathe. Miami. So I mean,
but-
it just depends on what Miami's defense looks like. If they're running their zone, the zone's working. You're stopping everything, and then Denver's not making shots. Like, how do you break a zone? You fucking shoot out of it. So make them go
Denver
back
gets
to
some
man.
good shooters.
Make them go back to man. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be. I think Denver wins in 5 easily.
That's what I'm
Um,
also going with.
I think it's going to
Nuggets
be
in
like
5.
a little gentleman's sweep. I mean, maybe the closeout game is going to be the hardest game. So I think if Denver does end up going up 3-0, like then you're still in Miami, and then that will be the game that they probably end up taking because
I
they
can
know
see-
they can kind of.
I can see a lot of these games being close though.
Oh, I could see them being close as well. I just don't think Miami will be able to finish it out.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
a
think
lot
it'll
of the
be a
Den-
lot
a
of
lot of the
like how the
Denver
Lakers
Lakers
games
games were
were.
close.
Yeah, I think that's
And-
exactly how it could be.
I think it's going to come down to the Nuggets have Jokic and Jamal Murray, and the Heat don't. Basically.
Yeah, it's
I think that's basically. I think the Nuggets just have the better players, and yes, you could have said that about every series
yeah,
that they've been into, but I think this is different. I think this is a lot different
yeah. They have
because you're going up against who did they face in the first round? You played one good center, and it was Brook Lopez. 2 other centers were kind of just non-existent. Mitch Robb and Robert Williams are just non-existent in those offenses. So you're playing someone who's the team's offense is literally built through their center. Does that help Bam? Yes, because Bam running up the court and running the point forward will help them a lot because then you're kind of taking Jokic out of the paint. Not saying Jokic is going to be a threat in the paint, but you're taking a big body out of there. So then you're getting like maybe Jimmy Butler to the rack, or you're getting someone to go to the rack for a lot of easy layups. So I think it'll be fun. But again, I think maybe I'm not saying it's gonna be a massacre, but I think Denver beats them pretty easily.
Mhm. But at this point, next thing we got, because for Miami and Denver, this isn't a disappointment at whatsoever. They're both in the finals, but I feel like throughout this playoffs, it's really been a mixed bag. Because the next thing is who has been the most disappointing team out of everybody in the playoffs and player.
It's
Specific
obviously
player.
I think it's unanimously the Bucks.
The Bucks has to be.
I think it's
Mm,
unanimously the
has
Bucks.
to be.
A team that has gone through a number 1 seed the whole season to just get not even like beat, but get humiliated by the 8 seed. What they win in 5?
Yeah.
Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gentlemen
that's 5.
swept by a play-in team, which is one of the craziest things to ever say from a team that
Yeah.
has arguably the best player in the world on their team, and 2 players that were in depoy conversations, 3 players
Yeah.
technically.
And
Like
they
it's,
were.
I think it's brutal. I think if you're a Bucks fan, you're in hell. Seeing Miami go all the way to the chip,
Um.
so I think
I
that's
knew
a
you're-
unanimous team.
I think
knew
the
you were
Suns
gonna
could
say-
be up there just because of like the repercussions
Suns,
that we've
maybe.
seen with like Monty Williams getting fired already and like just how much of a shitstorm it is kind of right now. You could kind of say that it was a pretty big disappointment.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they
feel
they
like-
didn't have enough time.
Yeah, I
Especially
get
with
it.
Katie's injury.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
And
Any
the
team
thing-
that trades,
I guess
for a
it's
star
just a
at the
way
deadline
of
gets a
looking at it.
pass
I
at the
don't know.
playoffs that first year because you trade
You
for the
can make
deadline.
like
he was
you can
hurt.
have
like-
excuses for the Suns. Like there's
Yeah.
a million excuses you make for the Suns. The Bucks have no excuses. They just got beat. They got outplayed.
Giannis was hurt.
Was he though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Giannis was
it.
hurt.
He still dropped a 20.
Oh yeah, I'm on the side with y'all. I have a different team for like different reasons because I kind of knew you guys were gonna pick the Bucks, but in my opinion,
very close second.
I think the Suns are a very close second.
Sorry.
I don't think I wouldn't put the Suns even top 3. I think it's just because of the way they went out. They went out hella sorry. But I think Philadelphia is the most disappointing. Because of more so, yes, I understand the Bucks were a 1 seed, but like they're gonna get a new coach and everything else like that. But Philly, like the whole narrative was like, this is the year. Like Bucks already got theirs. Yes, I understand. But for Philly,
It was never the year.
no, for Philly, it was always question marks with James Harden staying after this year. Was the team going to look like after this year? You only have so much longer of Joel Embiid at this level playing like this is the MVP of the league. I think this is the most disappointing team because of what is going to happen afterwards. Like Boston, still hella young. Boston's just going to retool, run it back. Milwaukee, they still have Giannis, who was hurt, mind you, in that series. Yes, he still played good in the games that he played, but he was hurt. They got a new coach. They're going to retool that roster, and they're going to be back. I know the Bucks and the Celtics are going to be back. I don't know if the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be back. Like, Joel Embiid, there's a world where Joel Embiid's not on this fucking team next year. That's why it's disappointing compared to the Bucks, Suns, and the Celtics. Those 3 teams are just going to be back next year. I know for a fact they're going to be back next year.
Are the Bucks going to be back though?
I think so. You
I
have
think so.
Giannis. You have Giannis, and then you have Chris Middleton, who at this point
Is Chris Middleton? He has a player option. He's going
yes.
back.
He'll
So-
be back.
Yeah.
And even if they like,
Drew Holiday will be back.
so I'm very confident about the Bucks, Celtics, and the Suns. Pretty much the teams that would be the most disappointing. I'm not gonna throw Memphis in there because they had their whole ordeals. Golden State, disappointing still.
I wouldn't say it's
Disappointing, but
was-
not like up there though.
Yeah, not like up there. I think they had their moments of being disappointing, but like the main 4 teams are Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, and Sixers. But 3 of those teams I do believe will just be back next year, most likely better. And the Sixers are still in that realm of a question mark. And I have
think it's just
Joel Embiid
weird
as the
for-
most disappointing player along with that team.
for it to be disappointing is just like, yeah, but like people understood what was going to happen. We knew the script of the 76ers the whole season before it even happened. And Isaac can attest to this. Isaac was
said
been
it.
telling us that the 76ers were going to be shit. We know the 76ers are going to be shit. They
Called them
do their thing.
losers on the
No,
pod last episode.
losers.
Losers.
They're not losers. It's just like
No,
we
those
just
losers.
know what
No,
we're gonna
they
get.
are.
It's just like Minnesota Vikings. We're gonna get a good season just to ruin it. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
have a good season to just ruin it. You've got the 76ers, you got the MVP and everything. Everything's going good. Good first round matchup, wiped. Just to ruin it the next round. Vikings, good season. Justin Jefferson, offensive player of the year, all that shit. Just to lose in the wild card. It's the same thing over and over and over again. So I can't say it's
To the
disappointing.
Giants.
I can't, not football pod. I can't say it's disappointing, but it's just sorry. Like you just expect it. And then Joel Embiid to be the player, I do kind of
fair.
agree. I agree with it, but then I don't agree with it. Like
I could also say a different name for a
He
player.
was
as
hurt.
well.
he had a
I
good
have to-
series. He had a good
He was-
series. He just didn't play good in game 7.
He
And then-
also
Like
Yeah,
little do you
was-
know, same thing happened to us in game 7. So it's the same thing. Player for the whole go around. God, I could maybe say Kevin Durant. I could maybe even say Kevin Durant because he really wasn't playing good in those final games.
I can say nobody on Phoenix was playing good. I think they
Devin Booker.
just got
Devin Booker.
fatigued.
Devin
I
Booker
think
was
Devin-
the only player on that team who wanted to win.
I think that whole Phoenix Suns team got fatigued
yeah,
because
know
they
what the
didn't
fuck
because
y'all's
Kevin
bench
Durant and
was.
Booker had to do everything.
Who
The
was
bench
another
was
name you
ass.
had?
That was it.
Who was the other name you had, Corey?
It was
yeah,
just like
only Joel.
No,
no.
he said he had someone else.
I had another name. Another name
Oh,
I
yeah?
had was Jordan Poole.
Oh.
Jordan Poole, you could
Yeah.
go Jordan Poole / Klay Thompson. I know they're not higher up on like the most disappointing teams, but just specific player. I think when you look at how much, because Curry completely bailed them the fuck out in game 7 by going off. And then you look at Jordan Poole, that shot in game 1, the world exploded, but he makes that shot. Whole series is completely changed. He missed that shot. I'm not saying his whole thing was based on that shot, but in the entire playoffs, he was just getting outplayed by anybody. He was getting pushed around. He seemed out of his element. He seemed like he wasn't comfortable. And it seemed like all of a sudden now the Draymond punch shit happened. I'm like, Jordan Poole, you were playing great all year when Curry was out. I'm like, we need that same Jordan Poole that was coming off the bench last playoffs against Denver, dropping 30 a game. Like,
Drop a dime.
and then like flip it around, Klay Thompson. Like Klay
God.
Thompson's came back. I love Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson, you can't come out here and talk.
I like Klay
shit
Thompson.
and play like crazy. Like I think those are two other disappointing players, like on a lower level. But from what I've watched and what I've seen them do in the past in the playoffs, it was definitely disappointing to see them both kind of play like shit for the most part. Yes, Klay Thompson had a couple good games throughout the playoffs, but it was mainly just if Steph Curry goes off, we're gonna win. If he doesn't, we're gonna lose. And then those would be my players: Joel Embiid, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson for most disappointing. I
think
can't
another
really
player
put
you could
KD in
maybe-
there, but I see a world where KD is.
It's-
Maybe Maybe it's
instead of
Julius
throwing
Randle.
Julius Randle,
Maybe
He played
Donovan
pretty
Mitchell.
bad.
instead of KD, I think you throw DeAndre Ayton in there. And I know
Okay.
we haven't I know we're not expecting DeAndre Ayton to play amazing in the playoffs because he didn't play great last year when we lost to Dallas, but he did have that amazing run when we went to the finals where he played great in 3 straight series, in which people were kind of looking to him to kind of step up in this playoff run, and he didn't.
was-
So that would
I understand
instead
it.
of KD, I would go him because KD. I mean, look, he's been injured all year, played 10
Gets with a
games
new
with the
team.
Suns. I'm going to give KD a pass for that. I'm going to give
Mhm.
more to DeAndre Ayton if we're going to give to somebody on the Suns.
Donovan Mitchell, a sneaky one. But
Yeah,
I'm also
he
gonna
played
give
he played like
We
shit.
also give Donovan Mitchell a really high ceiling.
yes because
Like
of
we
how
expect him to
yeah,
do really good.
I get it.
this is like the
Yeah.
only time where Donovan Mitchell is kind of like underperformed in the playoffs. He's like before this year, he was known as a top 3 to 5 player in the playoffs.
Mhm.
And this is like the only year I give him still like kind of the KD thing. Like the Knicks just played them to a T. And I feel like Tom Thibodeau outcoached Bickerstaff. And Donovan Mitchell just didn't play well. Tough matchup for the Cavs. But I think it gotta be. I'm not gonna put Jaylen Brown in there because I'm not gonna be on recency bias bullshit. Because Jaylen Brown was fine in all the other series. It was just the past couple games. So I'm not gonna throw him in there. Like you can't really put anybody from the Lakers in there. So and I'm still not gonna put anybody from the Suns. So I think that has to be like Joel, Ayton. You could throw Donovan Mitchell if you want to. You could throw anybody on the Bucks if you want to. Like I don't know. I feel like this more of a team rather than a player. Julius Randle you could throw in there if you wanted to. Because he was a kind of big reason why they kind of got smoked by Miami, in my opinion. Because he just wasn't playing so
Oh, yeah,
well
he
when
was-
Julius Randle needed to play.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, as the playoffs as a whole, I know the finals are still gonna happen, but as a whole, the playoffs very interesting. Because I had Sixers and Warriors in my finals, and that shit didn't happen.
I had Bucks and Suns.
That
That
sucks.
shit didn't happen.
At Suns Sixers.
Isaac, who did you have?
It's Sixers Nuggets.
Mm,
So you're telling me nobody had the Heat?
no,
No,
Nah.
I had them. I had
Nah,
them losing to
sadly,
the
sadly, I
Celtics
didn't
in
have
the
the
first
Heat in the
round.
finals.
no.
Man.
But Stoll, do want to get your opinion.
Yeah.
Last 2 things, really, because the NBA is kind of just waiting on the finals at this point for these next couple of days. 2 things. We'll start out with Nick Nurse, officially the new coach of the Sixers, leaving the Phoenix Suns with Doc Rivers.
No.
No, it won't. It won't be Doc.
No, it's gonna happen.
No.
But
It's
what?
gonna happen.
Where are we feeling initially? Because I feel like you guys kind of got. I thought he was going to the Bucks. Me personally,
Oh yeah, I thought he was too.
I thought that was locked. But Sixers, I was honestly a little surprised because you had the Suns job out there, which is intriguing with booking KD, and then you had obviously Giannis in Milwaukee. But he chose Philly.
No, and I mean, working with the MVP, I get it, but to me, there are still so many questions that are, with Harden and with the depth and what we're gonna do with him. To me, it's exciting. Yeah, it's cool, and it's an improvement over Doc Rivers. but I'm not gonna be all in again, or I'm not gonna get
No.
head over heels just because of a head coach. He's a good head coach. I mean, he's a smart offensive and defensive mind. And like I said, Doc Rivers, he had his moments, but overall, Nick Nurse is going to be I think he'll be a much better coach for Joel Embiid, and I don't think Joel Embiid will be an MVP again. I think Nick Nurse is going to kind of lay off that and maybe delegate from others and kind of teach Joel how to distribute more. Hopefully, Pascal Siakam has turned into a great playmaker under Nick Nurse. So, but it doesn't make me believe that this team can win it all again.
Still a lot of question marks. Like, you guys still have to go through the whole offseason and everything else, but I do think this
Absolutely.
is a W start to it for sure.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a
I
good
love the
hire.
hire,
Yeah, it's a
but
good
I'm
hire.
not going to sorry, I'm not going to get like all excited again. This team has so let me down so often, as Connor pointed out. They're sorry.
It's
Mm,
still so raw. It just happened.
yeah.
Yeah. People in the timeline are like, "Oh, I'm back in." They lost like 9 days ago. Okay, it was not that long ago. So, yeah. What was the other thing?
Um, it was Bob Myers stepping down
Oh,
Hey,
from becoming the highest paid executive, I think, of all time.
I
wow.
think he just wanted out of the culture. There's some about being in Golden State.
Bro, hey, I saw a tweet that said bro signed that pool extension and got the fuck out.
No, there was
Signed that shit ass pool extension.
Here you
And
go.
said, peace out, boys.
he said something about him not being able to fully commit and give the full amount of effort needed for the job. And like I mean, at this point, he's
Whatever. You already got
yeah,
four chips.
yeah, he's built a dynasty. Like, he could also just like want to be done for now, and like step, because obviously teams around the league would want Bob Myers, but
Yeah,
I feel like he could also just be stepping away for a minute, just
yeah.
because
He could just
he's already done everything he could do as an executive in the league. He's built a dynasty. So
yeah. When Cliff Kingsbury got fired by the Cardinals, he bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, and the only reason that people ever found this out was because coaches who were trying to interview him for other jobs, that was what he told them. And then no one heard from him for like a month or so. I don't know what he's up to now. I think he might have got a college job, but like that is why. Who are we to say that Bob Myers is going to take a job? He might enjoy he's earned it. They've certainly
yeah,
earned it. He's the mind behind one of the greatest dynasties in basketball. So if he's going to take some time off, sure, he could be taking a job with USA Basketball or something too. Because um, I don't know any GM openings off the top of my head or any president openings. And do teams like fire their GM to make room for another guy? Like that seems so
the only name I've
violent,
heard is like Mike Dunleavy to replace him, but Bob Myers kind of, even in his like presser about it, was like saying the Golden State's in very good hands. You have Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and a great ownership. You're in
Oh,
great hands.
the Warriors will be fine. I just don't know where Bob Myers would end up. I
I
don't
don't
know
think
if
it's
there's
gonna
a
be anywhere for right now.
I don't think so either, because you don't leave the Warriors unless you're just straight up retiring. There's not a better situation in basketball. Like you said, he's the highest paid exec as is, but you have
It
Steph Curry.
Yeah, it's definitely because when we were at work today, you brought up like who's gonna deal with, like, is the new GM gonna come in there and like deal with what kind of the Warriors, I guess, have been dealing with. Yes, they have the rings and everything else, but the drama that comes along with it with Draymond Green, and you want
Yeah.
Klay Thompson one in the bag. You got the pool extendo. I think it's gonna be very interesting to see what does happen, because I do
Mhm.
believe that we will have a very, very different roster next year. And it starts with the Draymond Green thing. I think that's the first domino this offseason that the team needs to address, because he's the culture. He's everything to the Warriors. He is the Warriors. Obviously, you have Curry and everything else, but Draymond Green represents the Warriors, and That's going to be very interesting to see what they do. Personally, it really comes down to, at this point, do you keep Draymond Green or Klay Thompson? I think that's the thing. I think Jordan Poole is going to be fine. I think he's going to be on the roster. I don't think they're really buying in the whole recency bias thing, but I do think with Bob Myers like stepping down, it's going to be very interesting to see Draymond Green or Klay Thompson, that kind of argument. And obviously, like, Curry's going to have the main say so and everything, but with the whole Bob Myers shit, it's going to be very interesting. I feel like this makes it sure, in my mind at least, that there's going to be some different kind of moves made. I just don't know what they are going to be, but I do think they're going to address a lot of different things. I feel like we're going to be going into the next year with a very different roster compared to what people are thinking it's going to be.
We're used to seeing Golden State be heavy on the guards and the wings, not really a lot of big men. So we could see a philosophy change coming in. You know, we could see some stars traded. I think this offseason is going to be one of the most volatile ones we've had in a while.
Yeah, especially there's a lot of movement. I feel like it's gonna be one of the most entertaining ones. I'm hyped for the finals, but man, the off season is like my favorite part about the NBA season.
Yeah, drama. Oh man, I remember I don't even know why I was up because it was like 2 a.m. But I was just on my phone and I got the Woj notification that Paul George is gonna like agreed to give a trade to go to the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard agreed to sign there. You know, that, and seeing the rush like that at 2 a.m, like that was nuts. So I could definitely see something like that happening again. Hopefully not with Joel Embiid. Hope you know, but I think if any star's getting moved, it's Trae Young. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I'll say it now.
I fucking hope so.
The one in recent years, like the Paul George to the Clippers, didn't really shock me just because I felt like that was just gonna happen at some point. He's always wanted to play there. Nah,
that was
the more recent one that shocked me was Donovan Mitchell going to Cleveland.
That was crazy.
I thought that was more shocking because I thought he was going to New York. The KD shit didn't really shock me when he went to Phoenix.
See, Donovan Mitchell was supposed to go to New York. I guess they changed their offer.
Everyone
at the last
is
minute.
supposed to go to New York.
Everybody.
They had
was
trades.
supposed to New York.
I think the world would stop moving if I looked at my phone and Damian Lillard was traded
to New York.
That would be the only thing this offseason where like my jaw would be on the ground. Because if Trae Young gets traded, I'm like, okay. I've kind of expected this. Joel Embiid would be shocking, but not as shocking as if Damian Lillard got moved. I'm gonna wake up one morning, Damian Lillard is somehow on the Dallas Mavericks or some shit.
That'd be crazy.
They're desperate enough for that, but sign and trade with Kyrie.
But you guys want to wrap it up there?
Did you guys
like a good spot.
Did you guys talk about the draft already?
Yeah.
Okay, word. Thought I wanted to know.
All right, for sure.
You're fine.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope to see you in the future episodes.